This is gonna be a really short video describing pop-off cards and super pop-off cards. So I'm just going to show you what I mean by that. And this isn't a known name for them. It's just the way they work is related to pop-off or snowballing. Doesn't matter what you name it. The thing is, some cards require a killing blow. This is what I mean by a super pop-off. It's a card that requires your team not to steal your kills, otherwise your card has no value at all because it won't activate. And on Roxas, this is the worst super pop-off card in the game because not only does it require killing blows, it also requires using a specific ability to get that killing blow, which is your punch. I've never ever seen this card being ran on Roxas, and I don't want to see it because I know most of the time he's not gonna get any value out of it. Not to mention that you have to invest in it to get anything out of it. What does this translate to, late game? Now basically, late game, even if you do activate this card, it's only gonna heal you for 281 if you're under cauterized 3, which is most likely going to be the case. So this is a worse version of kill to heal 3. And kill to heal is bad on its own. And it only requires eliminations, not killing blows and not specific to a certain ability. Now let's look at more of these cards, for example on Zen. Now the card is Fan the Flames. This is ran in Guillotine loadouts, the talent that makes your ultimate kill anyone unless they're being healed by their support, but they're not affected by cauterize, or the enemy has IO. IO completely makes Guillotine worthless if she's looking at that target. So basically, what is this? If your team doesn't actually go ahead and steal your kill, you will be able to escape immediately after getting the killing blow. This is a snowballing or super pop-off card because it also requires a killing blow. Here's the thing. At higher elo, you will be playing safer, even as Zen, and thus you will not be needing to use your billow or your escape again. Like, in what situation would you need its cooldown reduced unless the enemy is literally following you all the time? Not gonna be the case. So this card is seen being ran at 2 or at a max of 3 points on loadouts that aren't for Guillotine. And by the way, just like we've already explained on Androxus in the very first or second video, running this at just 4 points is more than enough because 80% of your cooldown, well, by the time you would get a killing blow, the cooldown will be, gone. And then you don't need to waste 1 more point on it. So, would I run this? No. No, I wouldn't run it. 2 points is more than enough. The value out of it at 40% is more than enough for me. Let's talk about the card Stomping Ground on Buck. This is ran in Bounce House, loadouts because it gives you snowballing potential. All you're doing is jumping on someone, killing them in 2 seconds after you hit them with the jump, and then you will jump on someone else. You will have your cooldowns reset. So here's the thing. What if someone on your team decides to go ahead and steal your kill? Or by mistake, doesn't matter if they're like literally trying to know you or not. You will have, lost all the value. And you kind of are slow at finishing off enemies as Buck because 2 seconds after landing on them really can't feel long. It's sometimes, if you miss, that adds a full second to it. If you don't land a headshot, that might add even more time. If you miss your net shot, that adds more time. So it's kind of really sad to see Buck losing because his team decides to go ahead and steal his kills while he's playing Bounce House. Now, I'm not saying that Bounce House is the best. I do understand that the current meta is for bulk up, but still, when you go up against a Bounce House Buck, you really will feel bad because of how much he snowballs when his team understands what he's trying to go for. Let's look at support pop-off cards. For example, Grover. I don't run that card, which is Adrenaline, by the way, in any of my loadouts because I'm gonna translate this to you. This is a regular, not a super pop-off card because it only requires an elimination, not a killing blow, and you're a support. So yeah, you will be getting eliminations. The thing is, this only prevents trades. Here's the situation that actually happens in games when you're running Adrenaline. So basically, you are healing someone. That someone gets really low before they finish off the enemy. Then you have your cooldowns reset and you can heal them before someone on the enemy's team completes the trade. So yeah, you've stopped the trade from happening. That's all you did. However, what if I told you that at higher elo, sometimes, you know, fights are gonna be really long because everyone's trying to play as safely as they can. So eliminations are far in between to get on, you know, Grover. You would always be getting more value if you ran, you know, both the flat and the non-flat cooldown reduction. If you're looking to be playing deep roots, then this is the loadout you would be going for. Actually, let me just rename this since we're here, because if you're looking to use your crippling throw, okay, it's yeah, deep roots, then you're gonna need this card to get the maximum value of your talent. Now, here's the thing, both of these work for both you healing and giving your team utility. It's just that this has more healing uptime all the time because I'm combining both cooldown methods, which is seen on, you know, some loadouts of support mains and pros. Let's show you another example of a bad pop-off card on a support. This is on MalDumbo, Feed the Spirits. Well, here's the thing. Your cooldown on Mending Spirits is 3 seconds, so this at 5 points reduces that by 1.5 seconds. And of course you're gonna be buying Chronos, so it's gonna give you even less. Your gourd is on a 10-second cooldown, and you're gonna be running many gourds just to reduce the cooldown to 7.5 seconds. So why would you need even more? This card has literally no value to you. You won't get any value out of it as MalDumbo. You don't even have the room for it. And MalDumbo right now is in a very sad state because of the way his heals work. They are all overtime heals, meaning that an ally can either be cauterized before you heal them or get cauterized after you apply the healing, which is sad. Now, my own personal opinion is you would never ever want to play MalDumbo as a solo support. That takes way too much effort to give you the exact same reward that playing Ying does. As a matter of fact, Ying does more damage and more healing than him, and he really requires you to buy Deft Hands if you want to land any of the stuns, you know, consistently. It's really a slow reload until you have Deft Hands 3. Even at Deft Hands 2, it's slow. At Deft Hands 1, you are gonna be wasting your time if you're spamming your reload. You don't spam your reload on MalDumbo unless you have, you know, Deft Hands 3. Even then, sometimes you might not want to spam your reload. So here's my one and only currently being played loadout on him. Why am I running this at 5? Well, here's the thing. I only buy Chronos 1 on my MalDumbo because I'm an off support. I first go off and buy Deft Hands as much as I can, then to get the full value of, you know, Mending Spirits, my main healing ability, I will need only Chronos 1 because that will reduce its cooldown by 0.3 seconds, meaning that I'm only, you know, if I miss, I'm only going to be waiting for 0.2 seconds before I can try again. This is why I run it at 5, because only Chronos 1 is enough, not Chronos 3. If you're running this at 4 points, Chronos 3 makes your cooldown 2.1 seconds, meaning that you will only have, you know, your healing down for 0.1 seconds. No, I'd rather waste or use a loadout point and have enough with Chronos 1. I'm not saying that this is the correct way to play MalDumbo. I'm saying this is the correct way to play off support with Chronos Wrath MalDumbo, and not on this loadout, just on this card. Here's the thing. Many off support players forget that they are playing a support and think that now all they can do is deal damage. Now, I can understand that on both Grok and Pip, but not on anyone else, okay? Not on anyone else. Even Grok, there are so many Maelstrom Groks that end up dealing 50k healing alongside 160k damage in games. It's not really that rare, it's common. And Grok is not a support at all, not in the views of anyone that's in higher elo. He's just a damage champion that, due to the way that the game changed over the years, ever since, you know, his name was Wog, not Grok. and then it got changed and roles got changed, and then he's stuck with the support logo just because he has a healing ability. Same thing for Pip. Now other supports do have cards like this one. For example, Ying. Her cooldowns are 5, 4, and 14 seconds. So let's look at the card. Encouragement. At 4 points, reduce your active cooldowns by 4 seconds after getting an elimination. This means on a good focusing lens Ying, she'll be able to instantly deploy a clone and heal her team. Not once in the match will a focusing lens Ying use Shatter. Not a good one, because there literally is no reason for you to be doing that. Even if you're an off support, you don't need it. You just don't need it. You're better off letting your clone just expire or get killed by the enemy, because you're blocking off, you know, an entrance or something with that clone. You're forcing your enemy to shoot that clone. Why would you shatter it yourself for the 500 damage? Especially on Resonance Ying. There are also joke cards like this one. Generate 5 ammo after getting an elimination. Really? What's this gonna do? What's this gonna do? Ever. This is, as I've already said in that Furia video, a card that translates to, I can't read English, but I wanted to, you know, scroll through the menus. Yeah, the sad thing is most players have their Steam set to English and they don't speak it, and then the game just imports their settings from Steam, and then they're stuck being unable to learn a game, any game, not just Paladins. That's just sad. Well, anyways, let's just move on. So we've already covered supports and their pop-off cards. We've already talked about some of the bad ones and some of the good ones. Well, it's really rare to find a good one, really. And we've also, you know, we've also talked about Box card, Zin's card, and Rox's card. There are way more things. Like, take for example Skye. I don't like Skye at all. And look at this talent. It's a super pop-off only talent. Meaning that if anyone steals your kills, you don't have a talent. As a matter of fact, this whole thing is considered by some a super throw talent, you know, because you're not a flanker as Skye. Skye is either a damage champion or a support, because flankers are defined by their mobility. If you don't have mobility, then you're not a flanker. I mean, Tyra can have more mobility than Skye if she wants to. If she wants to. Maybe not more, just the same mobility. So yeah, don't even consider running these types of cards unless you know how to play that champion. Meaning that you've probably looked up a guide, looked up a good loadout, followed that guide, and know when to get that kill. You know, what about instead of your kills getting stolen, you steal someone else's kills? That's the way that I see it happening, really, in most of my games anyway. Now, damage champions also do have these types of cards. Luckily enough, they're all related to just regular eliminations, which is just the good type of a pop-off card. Now, Tyra's one, which is Primal Might, is really great. You're gonna be playing Mercy Kill on Tyra most likely, and 50% of your cooldowns is really great. It's 7.5 seconds on your Firebomb, 7 seconds on your Hunter's Mark, and 4.5 seconds off of your Nade Launcher, which is really, really good. That card defines a good pick because you do always get the value out of it. You're playing a damage champion. Of course you're gonna get eliminations. Now, Drogoz does have a super pop-off card, but really, let's just memorize the shape. I've got the entire set of loadouts that Drogoz Grandmasters are playing, and no, it's not seen, because, you know, you're playing a damage champion. You're not guaranteed to finish off anyone. You will be getting them low, and then someone's gonna just steal your kill. And you don't need your thrusts up all the time. You don't have to be flying all the time as Drogoz. Bomb King has one. It's also a super pop-off, you know, card. The thing is, he does get killing blows, but does he really need his cooldowns? Like, let's just look at his base kit, see how much cooldowns he has. So Detonate doesn't have a cooldown. Poppy Bomb is on an 8-second cooldown, and Grumpy Bomb is on a 12-second cooldown. So basically, get a kill, get 6 seconds off of your best ability, which is gonna be Grumpy Bomb. Now, what if I told you that there's another card that gives you half of that value without the requirement of you getting the killing blow? Half the value doesn't mean it's bad or worse. It just means that it's more consistent to have it. You don't need to get a killing blow for the effect. One more example of these types of cards is Life Taker on Khan, which is a great value card because if you even poke at someone from any distance and hit one shot on them and then they die, you will have activated Life Taker. Your shout's cooldown is, if I recall correctly, it's 14 seconds, and your grab's cooldown is 12 seconds. So that's gonna be a 7 and 6 second cooldown reduction just by getting an elimination, which is good. However, if you don't like these types of cards, there are other options which are just flat cooldown reduction cards. Their value is again half the value you get from a pop-off card, but they don't have the requirement of your team knowing what they're doing. So how do you decide whether or not to run that card? Well, here's the thing. Your best source of information for such things is just spectating some grandmasters. Again, on console you can't do that. What you can do, however, is go ahead and look up the leaderboards, just click on play, ranked, info, and then, click over here, view leaderboard, and then go ahead and click on grandmaster. I've decayed to, Diamond 5 because recently there's been an influx of new players, and here's the current, grandmasters in the game. So basically what I would do, even if I'm on console, I would take these names, write them down somewhere, go on my phone or whatever else, and find their Paladins guru profile, and then look up what champions they're playing. Some of those champions will be the ones we've talked about, and then I'll know what their loadouts look like. I can also just go ahead and import loadouts from them immediately. I don't need to go on any site for that, and see if they're even considering running any of those cards. That's how I learned to avoid Adrenaline on Grover, and how to use Life Taker on Khan, because it's always going to give you value. As Khan, your job is not dealing damage, it's not getting killing blows, it's getting eliminations. And that card specifically says get an elimination. Doesn't matter if it's a killing blow or not, you will get the value out of the card. Well, anyways, thanks for watching and hope you're enjoying Paladins.